Today we're going to review Dr. Berg's video on histamine intolerance. My name is Mike, the Healer Gut Guy. I've healed myself of all sorts of nasty gut issues, and I've helped people with histamine intolerance as well.
About histamine intolerance. What is that? Well, first of all, histamine is involved in the immune system. It's also present in certain foods. And if you had damage to your stomach or your intestines, you could be deficient in this enzyme, diamine oxidase. And this is the enzyme that helps you break down histamines. And because histamines are in certain foods, when you eat certain foods, these are the symptoms that you can experience: headaches, migraine.
So I've seen a lot of people take DAO enzyme and not get better from histamine intolerance. And yeah, so it's not that, because I've seen people take lots and lots of this, just no response whatsoever.
Your sinuses get stuffy, diarrhea, asthma, palpitations of the heart, skin gets flushed and red, hives, itchiness, vertigo, you're dizzy when you stand up, or low blood pressure. These foods are...
So this is an insane list of symptoms. Like it's literally like head to toe symptoms that this so-called histamine intolerance is affecting. So the theory behind this so-called histamine intolerance is that you eat histamine and then that histamine magically travels to a specific part of the body. So it goes through your gut, skips all these other body parts, and the histamine decides to settle in your brain, in your nose, or maybe you get diarrhea, maybe it settles in your lungs, maybe it settles on your skin. Why does this arm decide to get inflamed versus that arm? They don't have an explanation for this, and it doesn't make any sense. So I will explain what's going on in more detail. Well, actually, I'll just explain now because he's going to go on to foods. So everyone who has these specific symptoms, so if someone has hives, in German New Medicine, Dr. Hammer saw that everybody who has, let's say this person's dealing with eczema, depending on what part of the body the eczema shows up on, there's going to be a ring in your brain CT scan in a very specific location. This ring is caused by a conflict shock, a stressful event that catches us off guard. And it's like putting the organ into overdrive to help overcome this stressful event. And so if someone shows up with me with hives, I would go, okay, what was the separation conflict that happened when these rashes first started to show up? Did your dog die? Did your cat die? Did you get broken up with? Did a family member pass away? You know, what was going on in your life? Asthma. If someone has asthma, it's like, okay, what was that? That's going to be a scare fright or a territorial fear conflict. So a lot of people come down with asthma and tuberculosis in the lungs and stuff like that after a war. After World War I, there was the Spanish flu. You know, lots of people were getting, lung issues. And after World War II, World War I, it was the Spanish flu. And then World War II, there was a lot of people had tuberculosis. And this is because they were healing. They're recovering from a scare fright conflict, a territorial fear conflict, from the war raging in Europe. If it's diarrhea, it's an indigestible thing happened to your life. A migraine or a headache can just be, it's part of the healing phase of any of these conflicts, because there has to be healing on the brain level as well. That's why water enters these tissues when it's ready to aid with the cell removal or aid with the cell restoration. Low blood pressure is also a healing symptom as well. Vertigo, I'm not too well read up on, and heart palpitations, I believe it's from feeling overwhelmed by somebody. Other people are overwhelming you or something like that. I'm not an expert on the heart programs, but in the sinus and the nose is a stink conflict. Like, this stinks. I don't like this. Yeah. We'll see what else he has to say.
Over here are high in histamines. Pretty much all the fermented foods, wines, vinegar. However,
so this is like so inconsistent. I see so many people, they can tolerate half of these foods, but not the other foods. And it's all caused by food phobias. When we did not react to, these people were not super reactant to these foods until they started following these really strict diets. So the way that someone develops an allergy to like one of these foods is, maybe they were having a glass of wine when their boyfriend or girlfriend dumped them. And now every time your body, your mind sees a glass of wine, it goes, oh no, we're going to get dumped. This is going to suck. Something bad's going to happen. That's essentially what's happening. And then it gets like reinforced when every time you have wine, you get a headache.
Apple cider vinegar is less than balsamic vinegar and other types of vinegar. Aged cheeses, cured meats, alcohol, avocados. Now I know this is a keto-friendly food, but it has higher amounts of histamines. Canned food.
And just think about how ridiculous it is that the histamine travels to one part of the body and not the other. It's total nuts. That's not what's happening. It's ridiculous.
Chocolate, black tea, eggs, mustard, nuts, soy, spinach, strawberries, and tomato. And there's others as well.
So
but
anything that tastes good, you can't eat it.
This list will give you an idea of the most common foods that are high in histamines. So 2 questions. Number 1, how do you know if you have a histamine intolerance? And number 2, what do you do about it? Well, just start eating some of these foods and see if you get any of these reactions, okay? That will pretty much tell you if you have a histamine intolerance. All right, so now let's talk about what to do. Number 1, you want to replace some of these foods with foods that are low in histamines, okay?
So step number 1, don't do the exact opposite. You need to eat everything and tell yourself that everything is safe. And if you find yourself reacting to like a food, like even after you're telling yourself that this is safe, think how this food relates back to the stressful event.
I gave you a list right here. Asparagus, bell pepper, blueberries, cabbage, cauliflower, grass-fed beef, green leafy vegetables, excluding spinach, turkey, white fish, green tea, liver, squash, and zucchini. If you eat these foods, you're going to feel a lot better. These symptoms should go away if you're truly deficient in this enzyme. So that's number 1. Number 2, you want to consume a supplement or something that has this enzyme in it. And it just so happens that grass-fed kidney has that.
So these symptoms aren't caused by
that enzyme. So if you were to
a deficiency in this enzyme, it's caused by an organ going in and out of overdrive due to stress, essentially. That's histamine is just part of the inflammation process. And an organ becomes inflamed when it's in overdrive. That's the easiest way I can explain it to you guys.
Buy a product, and I'm not going to give you any brands, you can research that. If you were to buy a product that has a grass-fed kidney extract, that will give you the enzyme, and you're going to feel a lot better when you consume some of these foods. Now, another product that has that enzyme is liverwurst. You can get that from U.S. Well.
Yeah, great foods to eat, but they're never ever going to fix histamine intolerance because it's caused by a certain type of reoccurring stress in your life.
Wellness meats. It's grass-fed, very high quality. I'll put a link down below. I don't get any kickbacks from that, just FYI. All right, the next thing that you want to do is periodic prolonged fasting. Like every 2 weeks, you fast for 48 hours. In addition to intermittent fasting. Why? Because you want to heal the gut so you don't have a problem with this anymore, and so your body can. So
this holistic nonsense of fasting is going to fix your gut. I've seen people fast for weeks, like a week, do intermittent fasting for years, and they still have digestive issues. They still can't eat like a normal person. Is because people think that leaky gut is caused by an overworked gut, and that's just not true. Go look at the competitive eaters. They abuse the crap out of their gut, and their digestion is just fine. People with legitimate gut issues, like people who have like Crohn's, colitis, IBS, and stuff like that, bloating, constipation, heartburn, it's caused by a very particular type of stress. And until that stress gets resolved, this person's going to have digestive issues. So, I mean, we pretty much don't need to watch any more of this video. We've kind of gotten through everything. So whatever, first what you want to do is focus on the symptom that's giving you the most trouble and try to figure out like, when did that symptom first show up and what stressful event is that linked to? Like, were you going through a breakup? Did you have a really crappy job at that time? And you know, start telling yourself all food is safe, and it's linked to a stressful event. I'm telling you, it's linked to a stressful event. And then when you're reminded of that stressful event, or you're reliving that stressful event, just like a different flavor of it, that organ goes into overdrive, and then you get the symptoms. So guys, my name is Mike the Healer Gut Guy. If you would like my help dealing with these issues, we have something called the Rapid Gut Healing Program, where I hold your hand through this process. It comes with a bunch of educational videos, and we have a private Facebook group where I have like three or four coaches now, and you can meet with us 3 to 4 times a week in a live Q&A on a Zoom call and ask us whatever you want. We'll hold your hand through the process of identifying the stressful event that started these symptoms, and you know what you need to do to get better. And I have a free 30-day plan in the description below. Most people, you know, use that and they get better. But yeah, guys, go down below and leave a comment. You know, what questions you have for me. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.